Hello guys, welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Canon, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can make payments using PayPal and integrate it in your website using PHP. So please stick to this video and subscribe, and let's skip direct to the code. So in front of me I have this basic it's just like a checkout page which has a product uh, and the price and the colors and all the specification for your product. And let's say you want to pay via PayPal. So what will you do to achieve this? So the first thing that you need to do is you have your checkout form as normal, just like add to cart, go to checkout, and then this is the source code of this page. So the next thing that you need to do is integrate it using PHP. So to do that, you just need to log into developer.paypal.com. So I don't know why it's taking some time. Okay, here we are. So the next thing that you need to do is just click get started, and then you'll get it. You get to hit this point. So the thing you need to do is use the standard checkout method. Here we have the overview and the documentation of this PayPal. And the thing you want to do is click on integrate part. So when you click on the integrate part, you'll find all this content about how to integrate, and you'll find the source code. Let me show you where the source code is. I'm used to using a bigger screen, but don't worry. So in this page you'll find the documentation of this integration. We have the standard checkout, we have the advanced checkout, and we have all these modes of checkout. So for us, we'll use the standard checkout, and in this front end we'll have the integrate front end and the back end. So let's view the checkout.html, how it looks like. So when you check the checkout.html, it opens on GitHub. Don't worry. So just click on checkout, and as you can see here, we have this code here with these with the normal HTML, and we have this. So what we need to grab is this one, the division ID. Should copy or just say like this, copy, and then paste it here on our source code. So yeah, our code looks like this, so we need to paste it around here. Go to checkout or down there. Maybe let's say just down here. And then the next thing that we need to do, we need to grab this, the script source, and we'll say this one. This one will include here. And then it's saying that replace the test client ID with your client ID. I'll show you where you will get your client ID. So to get your client ID, what you need to do is go back to your documentation, and you'll say this one. Here is the default client ID. But to do that, we'll just go to you'll need to go to this one. Say go to dashboard and go to developer dashboard. When you go to developer dashboard, just click on apps and credentials. And then just block that, and then you'll find your client ID here. So what you need to do is just copy to clipboard and refresh this test, with your client ID. So this client ID is just for the, what do you call it? It's just for the testing ID. But if you want to go in live mode, you just shift this one to live mode. So the next thing that you need to do is grab the buttons. See, when you're using PayPal, they give you an option to render the the buttons. So to do that, what we need to do is go back to our documentation here and go back to a client. And as you can see, we have this app.js. This one we will copy and paste this one as well. But for me, this one is so a little bit complicated. I have a simpler way of doing this. I designed it to be shorter and quicker to understand. So you can choose to copy and paste this raw file, or you can decide just to use mine, but I'll leave the source code in the description. So to do that, I'll just copy and paste that. So I'll come here and I'll paste this one. You can use it in a different page, or you can just say, you can use it here, or you can just say, maybe save as, like we have said, app.js, and then you can paste here, but just get rid of these buttons. All right, you can just do that. So, and then you can just get rid of that. So let it look like this. So what you need to do next is include that page, script.slc app.js, and this is how you include your application.js to our code. So if you don't understand what's happening around here, I've used comments in my code to help you uh, understand what's happening. So in the create order function, you need to set the amount dynamically. Let's say this is the amount, assuming this is the amount here, this 825 USD. If it was in an input button like this, don't know whether I've used the input button. Okay, let's say it's like something like, let's say input, sorry for that, input, and then input text, maybe let's say amount, and maybe let's say an ID of amount and the value of maybe 200. This can be dynamic, you know. This maybe you can say maybe it's equals to something like this, maybe 200, something dynamic. You see, if it's something like this, you need to grab this using this code, and you can say constant amount is equals to $sign total amount. If you want to do, you can set the amount dynamically. You replace it with the desired amount. But also, as for this video, I'll be using just a static amount, which is $5. It is just $5, but I can use this $sign because of that. And the currency code is USD. This currency code you can even convert maybe to euros. You can convert this if you're in Kenya, like I am, to Kenyan shillings, or you can just use the USD. USD is the most pardoned, maybe based on your country. And then this one on approval, this one will handle the payment if it's approved. And this how you will alert your transaction status and your transaction ID. So if it's successful, the success message will be displayed here. To retrieve different forms of status, you will use different methods. and then that's the alert, and here is the how you handle the errors and display error messages to the user. And then you just letter the PayPal button container. So let's save this and this one, and then I'll leave the source code in the description, and let's refresh our page here. And as you can see, we have this button and this button, and you can see it's powered by PayPal. Maybe we can make it look a little better. Maybe we can just break. We can break, or maybe we can say, I'll do just like this. Something just, I don't know. I don't know why it's not working, but it's no problem. So to do, let's check whether it's working. When you click PayPal, it's bringing this, and to test whether it's working, we need to go back to our PayPal.developer, and we need to go to testing tools, and we need to get the sandbox account. When you're in the sandbox account, use this personal. Don't use this. Click on this personal. So, and then the email is this one, and we have this pop-up. We need to stick to that. We'll use this email, then say next, because it's a testing, and then the password will be this, and then this is the password, and I say login, and you can see, you can say your PayPal balance five. You need to pay $5, and you need to complete the purchase. This is just a test account. That's why it's saying ship to John Doe is just a test account, your wallet for testing, and then you can click complete purchase. And when you click complete purchase, you can see, like we said, it's completed, and our PayPal message, PayPal reference code is this one. And as you can see in our code here, we have said alert the transaction dot status. These are just concatenation is equals to the transaction ID. This is the transaction ID, or you can just say to the user transaction completed by payer name or given name, and then maybe you can just add and say maybe payment, maybe payment success, and then maybe here we can just use hold on, and then we can say payment successful. So let's run this code again and see how it looks. Let's refresh again, click PayPal, hey John, and you can see hey John Doe. Let's complete purchase. Transaction completed by John, payment successful. And I'll leave this all the source codes in the description. So guys, the most common problem is how to store this data into the database using PHP, assuming the customer has completed the purchase. So to store it into the database and process all that data, what you need to do is, well, you can process it using iAjax, or you can use the direct.js format. But for me, I'll show you using Ajax. So to do that, what we need to do is, now I'll comment for TikTok users, because some of you of them just want to watch. I'll say how to insert the response into the database using PHP. So the first thing that we need to do is use the JQ Ajax. Most of you, if you're not aware of the jQuery Ajax, just to follow along. So $sign dot ajax. Structure like that. The first thing that we need is the method. Sorry, it's the method, and then the method we'll be using is the post method. Then the next thing that we need to do is give the URL. For me, I'll just say maybe PayPal underscore processor dot PHP. Sorry. And then the next thing that we need to do is give it the data. So the data that we'll give it here will be dynamic. And let's say, assuming we have to different, let's say the amount, let's say something like this is the amount is constant, no, not constant, it's dynamic. And if we declared it using a variable, you can use it here. Well, let's assume that you have a variable, let's say user, or maybe let's say user underscore ID. Maybe you've used these and your users, you use them as a session or something like that. Maybe it's something, let's say like this. It's right to use the PHP here like this. No, can't remember how exactly we use it here, but assuming you have the user ID here, and let's say your user ID is, let's say 5, because you've used the session, you can just call it here using the sessions and everything. So let's say your user ID is 5 and the transaction ID is equals to transaction.id, this one. So to do this, you can just say transaction, let's say the transaction, let's say the transaction ID will be equals to transaction dot id. And then maybe you want to give it using them, you want to use the user, and you can just say the user is be equals to user underscore id, which is this one. This can be dynamic in case of user sessions for specific users. And then the next thing that you need to do here is now process the response on success function. I'll give maybe a response, and I'll say maybe I can alert the response, or maybe I can say if the response maybe is equals to 1. I can just sorry, I can just say this, maybe let's say alert, maybe payment successful. And maybe you can say the transaction ID is, maybe let's say maybe the transaction ID is, let's say transaction dot transaction ID, which is this one, or you can just leave it like that. The choice is yours. So, and then else, just alert failed process payment. And then maybe you can say console maybe dot log the error. the response or the error response, right? You can use them simultaneously. So this is how you do that. Maybe let's remove this one, right? Maybe here, let's undo it like that. So I think this is all to process that payment, and then here I just say create this new PayPal.php, and you can say that's in PHP, and then you can say I want actually insert all these things into the database. You can do that on your own. I believe as of now you already know how to insert data into the database, but I'll show you how to grab this transaction ID and the user ID from this post method. So the first thing that you need to do, you just say maybe the user, which is this one. You'll just say $sign user will be equals to, just like the normal things, you just say maybe MySQL rescue, but for now I'll just say $sign underscore post, and I'll say user, and then the transaction underscore ID will be equals to $sign underscore post transaction underscore ID, which will be equals to, sorry, which will be equals to this transaction ID, and it will call it the transaction dot ID without, and maybe we can add one more thing and say maybe transaction underscore status, and we can say equals to transaction dot status, like that. So maybe, and then here we can just say the transaction underscore status will be equals to $sign underscore post transaction underscore status, and that's all. Now to insert this into the database, we'll just say $sign SQL will be equals to $sign, maybe your database connection, which is $sign connection, which will be equals to query, like this, and then you say just insert into maybe table name, like this, and then give it the values like this, and then after that just follow the normal procedure and give it the response. So I won't be completing this, you can do it to avoid the video being so long, and as of now it's around maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes, and that's all for that, for PayPal integration using PHP, JavaScript, and nothing else, and using HTML for the design. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time. If you have any questions, please don't forget to ask, and I'll see you guys next